My name is CathyAnne. I am an Access Technology trainer with 25 years experience teaching blind and low vision computer users and trainers. I author textbooks that teach students how to access computers with NVDA and JAWS for Windows screen readers. This lesson is the first of many. In this series, I'll discuss accessing Windows 11 with NVDA. NVDA is a free screen reader available at NV Access, www.nvaccess.org, NovemberVictorAccess.org. While you're there, please consider donating to this organization. NV Access has brought computer access to blind and visually impaired consumers across the globe. Screen readers echo Windows controls and text. Screen readers literally read the screen. If you are blind and have an interest in learning how to use Windows 11 and other applications, I invite you to join me. If you are sighted and curious about non-visual access to Windows 11 and other applications, join me in a comprehensive exploration of Windows 11 with NVDA. Let's discuss some NVDA and Windows basics. When you installed NVDA, you were given the option to create a desktop shortcut with an associated shortcut key, Control-Alt-N, November. Launch NVDA with the Windows keyboard accelerator Control-Alt-N, November. If you didn't install the desktop shortcut and shortcut key, open NVDA in the Windows Start menu. NVDA has default modifier keys. The desktop layout moderator key is numpad insert, or 0. The laptop layout is caps lock. When I reference a keyboard command with NVDA, that indicates the NVDA modifier key. If the NVDA speech rate is so fast that you understand generalities but not specifics, slow down the speech. I'm going to teach you how to access concepts and controls. In order to learn Windows controls, you need to listen carefully as you navigate Windows. You can increase the speech rate when reading a document, but for the purpose of these lessons, I recommend slowing speech to a comfortable level. Press either Control key to silence speech. Don't do this too quickly. As you learn Windows with NVDA, you'll depend on the screen reader to access Windows controls. If you silence speech too quickly, you risk missing important information. I've had students open a dialog and immediately silence speech. I ask the focus control, and they don't know. They hit Control too quickly. Listen to your screen reader. If you do silence speech too quickly or have difficulty understanding a focused control, use the NVDA keyboard accelerator NVDA tab to reread the focus control and contents. Practice using this command when configuring NVDA speech and general settings. We're going to discuss those next. Adjust NVDA speech parameters in NVDA speech settings. Open NVDA speech settings in the NVDA menu. Open the NVDA menu, NVDA N, November. Press up and down arrow to navigate menu options. Select and press Enter on the Preferences submenu. Press up and down arrow to navigate submenu options. Select and press Enter on Settings. The NVDA Settings dialog opens. The NVDA Settings dialog has a list of property sheets on the left side of the dialog. Press up and down arrow to navigate property sheets. Select the Speech property sheet. Controls for each property sheet are on the right side of the dialog. Press Tab and Shift-Tab to navigate property sheet controls. Configure the following. Synthesizer. This is a read-only edit box that displays the active synthesizer. Change. Activate this button to configure a different speech synthesizer. If you aren't familiar with installed synthesizers, I recommend leaving this set at the default. Voice. A combo box selects a synthesizer voice. Press up and down arrow to review synthesizer voices. As you navigate, the voice changes to reflect the selection. After selecting a voice, press Tab to move to the next control. 3 slider bars configure voice parameters. Configure slider bars with Windows slider bar commands. Up and down arrow, right and left arrow, page up and page down, home and end. The slider bars are rate, pitch, and volume. The remaining controls are checkboxes unless specified. Press spacebar to toggle checkboxes. You can explore these settings and configure them as needed. I'll explain the most important options. Automatic language switching when supported. If the synthesizer supports it, NVDA automatically switches languages. Automatic dialect switching when supported. If the synthesizer supports it, NVDA automatically switches dialects. Punctuation symbol level. Select a punctuation level in this combo box. Press up and down arrow to select an option. Press Tab to move to the next control. Choose from none, some, most, or all. Change the punctuation level at any time with the NVDA keyboard accelerator NVDA P Papa. Capital pitch change percentage. Configure the capitalization pitch change in this edit box. Insert a positive or negative pitch change value. The NVDA voice pitch changes when echoing capital letters. Say cap before capitals. NVDA echoes cap before each capital letter when reading by letter. Beep for capitals. NVDA beeps when it encounters a capital letter when reading by letter. Use spelling functionality if supported. NVDA attempts to correctly pronounce homonyms based on textual context. Save or cancel the changes with buttons at the bottom of the dialog. Press spacebar to activate buttons. Activate the OK button to save the changes and exit the dialog. Activate the Cancel button to cancel the changes and exit the dialog. Use NVDA keyboard accelerators to temporarily change NVDA speech parameters. To adjust speech parameters, desktop layout, press NVDA Control and don't release the keys. Laptop layout, press NVDA Shift Control and don't release the keys. While holding NVDA Control or NVDA Shift Control, press right arrow to choose a speech parameter. Voice, select a voice you want to use. Rate, adjust the speech rate. Pitch, adjust the pitch. And volume, adjust speech volume. Select a parameter you want to configure. With NVDA Control or NVDA Shift Control pressed, press up and down arrow to configure the selected parameter. Repeat these steps to configure each parameter. After configuring speech parameters, release all keys. Some general settings manage when NVDA launches and how NVDA closes. Open NVDA General settings in the NVDA menu or with an NVDA keyboard accelerator. In the NVDA menu, open the NVDA menu, NVDA N November. Press up and down arrow to navigate menu options. Select and press Enter on the Preferences submenu. Press up and down arrow to navigate submenu options. Select and press Enter on Settings. The NVDA Settings dialog opens. The NVDA Settings dialog has a list of property sheets on the left side of the dialog. Press up and down arrow to navigate property sheets. Select the General property sheet. Property sheet controls are on the right side of the dialog. Press Tab and Shift Tab to navigate property sheet controls. You can also open NVDA General settings with the NVDA keyboard accelerator, NVDA Control-G, Golf. Navigate to Save Configuration on Exit. When you exit NVDA, configuration changes are saved. This is a checkbox. Press spacebar to toggle checkboxes. If you want your configuration changes to be saved when you exit NVDA, make sure this checkbox is checked. Show exit options when exiting NVDA. When this checkbox is toggled off, NVDA shuts down immediately, bypassing a shutdown dialog. Press spacebar to toggle checkboxes. Play sounds when starting or exiting NVDA. When this checkbox is checked, NVDA plays sounds when NVDA starts and exits. Start NVDA after I log in. When this checkbox is checked, NVDA automatically starts after login. Use NVDA during sign-in requires administrative privileges. When this checkbox is checked, NVDA starts at the sign-in page. Administrative privileges are required for this setting. Use currently saved settings during sign-in and on secure screen. Requires administrative privileges. Current save settings are used at the sign-in screen. This is a button. Press spacebar to activate buttons. A dialog asks if you're sure you want to make these changes. Press Tab and Shift Tab to navigate dialog buttons. Press spacebar to activate buttons. After accepting the change, you'll need to accept an administrative alert. Automatically check for updates to NVDA. Each time you launch NVDA, the application checks for updates and alerts you if one is available. This is a checkbox. Notify for pending update on startup. If you don't install an update, NVDA alerts you the next time you launch the screen reader. This is a checkbox. Allow the NVDA project to gather NVDA usage statistics. The NVDA project gathers anonymous data about NVDA. This is a checkbox. Activate the OK button to save the changes and exit the dialog. Press spacebar to activate buttons. Activate the Cancel button to cancel the changes and exit the dialog. If you save the changes are applied and active. If you enabled the option to save settings on exit, NVDA saves the changes to the default configuration when NVDA exits. After configuring NVDA, you can manually save the default configuration in the NVDA menu or with an NVDA keyboard accelerator. In the NVDA menu, open the NVDA menu, NVDA N November. Press up and down arrow to navigate menu options. Select and press Enter on Save Configuration. You can also save configurations with an NVDA keyboard accelerator. Press NVDA Control-C Charlie. The configurations are saved. To exit NVDA, use the NVDA keyboard accelerator NVDA Q, Quebec. If you uncheck the General Settings Show Exit Options when exiting NVDA checkbox, NVDA immediately shuts down. If you didn't uncheck the General Settings Show Exit Options when exiting NVDA checkbox, a dialog opens. By default, focus is in a list box. Press up and down arrow to select a list box option. Exit, restart with add-ons disabled, or restart with debug logging disabled. Press Tab and Shift-Tab to navigate dialog controls. After selecting an option, activate the OK button to take the selected action. Press Spacebar to activate buttons. Windows features text navigation keyboard commands. These commands are used by both sighted and blind computer users. These commands work in any edit box and on the Internet. Open an email, word processing document, or web page and practice using these keyboard commands. Move to the next character, right arrow. Move to the previous character, left arrow. Move to the next line, down arrow. Move to the previous line, up arrow. Move to the next paragraph, Control down arrow. Move to the previous paragraph, Control up arrow. Move to the next screen, page down. Move to the previous screen, page up. Move to the next page, Control page down. Move to the previous page, Control page up. Move to the top of the page, Control home. And move to the bottom of the page, Control end. Using these Windows keyboard commands, you can navigate text in any Windows edit field and on the Internet. Press Control at any time to silence speech. The NVDA Say All keyboard accelerator reads text from the cursor location to the end of the document. The cursor moves as NVDA reads the text. This command works in all edit fields and on the Internet. To execute the NVDA Say All command, focus in an edit field or web page at the location you want to start reading. Execute the NVDA Say All command. The desktop layout is NVDA down arrow. The laptop layout is NVDA A alpha. NVDA reads the text from the cursor to the end of the document. The cursor follows the echoed text. Press Control to silence speech. The cursor is focused after the last echoed word. Read the system clock with an NVDA keyboard accelerator. To read the system clock, press NVDA F12. Press NVDA F12 function key 12 to echo the time. Press NVDA F12 twice quickly to echo the date. Hold down the NVDA Modifier key and tap F12 twice quickly. This keyboard accelerator can be used anywhere in Windows. You learned 3 NVDA-specific commands in this lesson. Read the focus control, NVDA tab. Say All, NVDA down arrow for desktop layout or NVDA A alpha for laptop layout. And read the system clock with NVDA F12. Everything else you learned in this lesson is Windows, including navigating dialogues, toggling checkboxes, accessing combo boxes, etc. Please take the time to configure NVDA speech parameters to suit your needs. Practice navigating text edit fields and web pages with the Windows text navigation commands and Say All. For a lesson transcript, please visit www.CathyAnne.com. CathyAnne, www.CathyAnne.com. If you found this information useful, I hope you'll subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. If you have questions or comments, please make use of the comment section below or contact me using the information in my About page. I'll see you next time. Thanks, George.